Hey guys, welcome to the Wednesday Cardone University Mastermind. My name is Steve Sprague, coming to you live from the 305. We are back. It's the day after Christmas and we are ready to roll. So welcome to the show, guys. Welcome. Hopefully you guys had a great month so far leading up. Today is the 26th, and for most people, everybody's pushing as hard as they can to close out the end of the year. So hopefully you guys are doing all the right things. And what I'm talking about is this. Most people, they're taking their foot off the gas right now. This is the time where Grant's like, dude, throw it on. Let's do more now than we were doing, because this is the time to like pop ahead of people, right? And so what we want to talk about here in the Cardone University Mastermind is how to get your game right using the program. So particularly today, we're going to talk about the secrets of the feature, the advantage, and the benefits. And so this is something that Grant talks about inside the Cardone University program that goes very deep. It's probably something that I would personally suggest going through maybe like 1 or 2 or 3 times just to make sure that it's clicking for you the right way, because this topic is so crucial and so vital to your presentation skills. And what I can tell you, I mean, just from working with Grant for 6 years, working with different companies, going in, seeing all different types of sales presentations, one of the biggest problems that I see are very simple fundamental parts of what Grant talks about inside the presentation. So I'm going to kind of drill down a little bit into this and explain exactly what he's talking about. So guys, if you want to call in, dial that number right there, 305-865-8668. That's the number. And I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear what type of challenges you're having here towards the end of the year. And we want to be able to answer anything that you have, anything you have questions on inside your deals. I'm going to show you what Grant would do, and I'm going to show you where to find it in Cardone University. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys my screen real quick. And so the place that I'm getting my information from today is going to be inside the sales process. So, you know, depending on what program you guys have, this could look a little bit different for you. This is also inside the top 7 sales, inside the 7-figure sales certification. So if you just have the 7-figure sales certification, if you have the full Cardone University program, we're going to be going inside the presentation. And guys, if you ever have any questions too, up at the top, there's going to be a search bar with a little magnifying glass. You could just type in presentation. So particularly what we're looking at right here is going to be inside these videos here. So anywhere between 5, 6, and 7. A little bit on 7. I'll touch on that, but particularly I'm talking about this video number 6 right here. The feature, the advantage, and the benefits. Okay, and so what I want to do, it's going to take you a lot to really, you know, dive into all this. I can't explain the whole thing. I mean, just inside this one sales process program, there's 89 courses that Grant dives deep on. There's 89, right? So there's a lot deeper material than what I'm going to cover here today, but I want to give you the big picture. So we always talk about this. We always talk about in the fact finding, we want to get down to the dominant buying motive. That's the DBM. That's what Grant's talking about. He's like, dude, this is why they showed up. This is the why now. This is like why today. This is why this product. This is why they're on the phone with you right now. What's the real dominant buying motive? And you're going to be able to identify that with the proper fact finding, the right fact finding questions, understanding how deep to go on the fact finding. And then what you want to do once you've identified that dominant buying motive is, I want to start presenting to that problem. And so you need to identify particularly, hey, what are those problems going to be for your business, your product, your sales, what you have, why do people buy from you particularly? And you need to have a couple go-tos. That way when you hear it and you're like, this is exactly why they're coming to me, you can start presenting to it. So what I want to do is I want to show you how to actually do that and how to tie a feature of your product or your service and then start adding the advantages and the benefits. Okay, I want to give you a secret. Okay, here's a secret. If you're writing this down at home, take notes right now on this. Okay, people buy from the benefit. Feature, advantage, benefit. Now a feature could be, let's just talk about Cardone University for a second, right? So you've got Cardone University, And one of the features is that it's online, right? So that would be a feature, right? But that's not why people buy it, right? The advantage of having it online is that you can get it whenever you want. The benefit is that you can learn from Grant Cardone every single day on anything sales, closing, right? So that's what you want to get down to. But when you pitch, you need to say, look, this is the feature, this is the advantage, and this is going to be the benefit of having that advantage. So what I want you guys to do is I want you to do like a little bit of a T-chart exercise right here. You can't zoom in, can you? A little bit. That's all right, don't worry about it. So there's going to basically make 3 columns, right? Make 3 columns. And Grant's going to talk about this. Like, I'm not just making this up right now. Grant's going to talk about it in that video, and he says make 3 columns, write 1 down feature, write down 1 advantage, and write down 1 benefit. That way you can do this exercise to get your things down tight, and then that's going to start to give you your pitches inside your presentation. Okay, so I want to take a couple callers, and we're going to get back to this. And I'm going to go deep for you guys, right? So who's the first caller?
You got Ben in Baltimore.
Ben in Baltimore, nice. What's happening, Ben?
Hey, Steve. Thanks so much for your time. Really appreciate it. It's Ben in Baltimore selling laboratory equipment again. We spoke a couple of months ago. I don't know if you remember. Probably not, but if you don't, that's fine.
No, I do, man. I do.
I really appreciate that. So, quick question. First of all, features, advantages, and benefits are one of my favorite parts of Cardone University. I loved it. I went through those videos a couple of times. I just need a bit of help closing a certain deal. So,
okay.
I have this guy who actually his business is like a 10-minute drive away from ours. And like I deal with companies, labs all over the country, sell to private businesses, university. This guy's 10-minute drive away, and he a couple of weeks ago he contacted me. He said, "Okay, I need this and this piece of equipment now, like within the next couple of days." And then I was giving out proposals. I was following up with him, and he said, actually they're not so pressing, so we don't need it right now. And even though our price is lower than the other company that he's been with for years, he said, listen, I want to stick with the other company because I know that they're reliable and they're a much larger company, and even though the price is higher with them.
Yeah.
So, number one, we're 10 minutes away from him. Number two, our price is lower. So how do I win this guy over? How do I pull him? It's like I'm following up relentlessly, but how do I pull him over to the light side?
Yeah, no, this is like a really good example, man. Dude, Ben, thanks a lot for calling in on this, because this is great for you listeners to actually see. Look, this guy's got an example where price, he's got a better price and he still can't get the deal because the guy's like, man, I'd rather pay the better price because I want to feel confident, and I've already got conviction in this company that, hey, dude, this company, they deliver for me, right? And so what I would notice on this, so the fact that you can get a better price, that's great, but that's not this guy's dominant buying motive. That's not his, if you sell to me, price isn't always, sometimes when I see a lower price, I think less value, less service, and I automatically actually think that it's not for me. And I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just because I'm used to buying some of the top things, and I'm used to just getting the better service, and I prefer that. That might be like this guy. So that's where you want to get down to a real dominant buying motive. But what I'd ask the guy too is, hey man, you gave me a call about 2 weeks ago, and you had asked to get something right away. And let me ask you this, man, why did you give me that call that day? What was the reason that time? Were they not able to deliver and you needed it at that moment? And so maybe you need to move from no, I talk about this all the time, move from no into maybe land, right? Where when you call the guy up, he's probably going to be like, no, man, hey, dude, I told you I'm already good with the other company. And just say, hey, I know you're good. And I know a guy like you would want to have us both available, right? So that way, if they run into a situation where they can't deliver like that one day, is that the reason you called me that day? Is because they weren't able to deliver on a product that you needed right away? Man, let me be there as your go-to guy when they don't have something. You don't have to buy anything from me right now, but let me show you my product lineup. And so if he's like, well, no, I could probably use that, that's where he slides into the, well, maybe I could do that. And that's where you start inching him along to get him up, to show him what you can provide that's in addition to what they're doing. And then that's where all the fact finding comes in, where I want to find out, you want to go back to the scene of the crime basically and find out, hey man, what do you like best about what they do for you? What do you like most? If there was something they were missing, what would it be, right? It's not always what they're missing. It's that, like, dude, you want to make sure you can check mark all the boxes that he's already getting, and then find out, dude, what's like 2 or 3 bonuses that we can get, and we've got a better deal on the money, right? And then that's when the guy is to a place where he starts to think about, hey, you know what? Maybe I would consider switching. Okay, so I would get him back on the phone. Go back to the time when he called you that day. Do you know why he called you at that time?
So I actually called him. He didn't know about our company. I called him because I saw he was so close, and then
nice
appointments. We met.
Yeah. So this is the funny thing, right? Like, dude, why did he even take your meeting?
Well, say that again. Why did he take my?
Why did he even take your meeting?
Well, what do you mean by that?
Well, I mean, look, man, I live in a condo here in Miami, right? But if I'm out just sporadically one day looking at new places, like, am I really doing that for fun, or am I like, to some degree, like I'm starting to unwind myself from my deal and I'm trying to get into something new?
Got it.
You know?
So why did he give me the opportunity?
Yeah, why would he even, like, the guy's a business owner. He's busy. He's got things going on. Outside of his business, he's got a family, a life. He's probably got hobbies. And all of a sudden, he gives you 10 or 20 minutes to show you his deal. Hey, man, pitch me. You know? So, like, that's the one thing that I'm always, like, aware of. I'm like, why does this guy let me pitch him right now? Even when he's telling me that, like, hey, man, we wouldn't even do this, but, you know, show me what you got. It still is, like, a huge indicator of, like, dude, why is this guy even giving me the time right now? There's something there. Like, you're in maybe land right now.
It sounds like a kind of personal question, though. That makes me a bit nervous to ask. Like, why did he do it? Why did he give me some of your time?
You
might
could
be like, it's none of your business, because like my wife screamed at me that morning, and I had extra time.
He just gave you the time. What? Let me ask you this, man. When you went in there, did you just show him what you could do, or how did that presentation go?
Yeah, I gave him the product. I didn't write him up a quote right then and there. I wrote it up about 20 minutes later.
Yeah.
I showed him our product. I showed him our price, and he, like, right on the spot, he used up his computer. So he said, "Oh, well, look, I could get a lower price from this bootlegger company or whatever."
Oh, he said he could get a lower price from a different company?
But the website was, like, very sketchy. It looked like it was from 1993.
Oh,
and
yeah.
So I pointed that out. I said, I don't know if that company is as reliable. And hey, like, we're 10 minutes right down the street from you guys. But even though he saw a price that's even cheaper than my price, which is cheaper than his current one, he still wants to go with his current vendor that he's been with for 6-7 years.
Yeah. Well, that guy's just in your pipeline right now, you know? Like, he was able to take that meeting that day. He also went to go look at another third party, right? So he's already shopped 2 different places, you and the other 1993 website,
yeah.
Right? So he shopped 2 places other than the other one. You know what I mean? Like, so like to some degree, there's something being missed, right? So you just haven't yet, like, raised his certainty on the fact that you can fully handle the job, or like you fully got the parts or the products. Like, I don't know your entire situation there, but man, I would dig into that. What I would do is I would go back to sales process. Let me show you where this is at, guys. If you go inside sales process right here, there's a category that's called fact finding. And just out of my experience, out of all the companies that I work with, out of all the sales teams, out of all the pitches that I hear, this fact finding, nobody knows what they're doing. I mean, every single company I walk into, I get their presentation, they give it to me, they give me their pitch. This part right here, I can tell you for sure, is one of the weakest things for most people, because they don't fully understand, dude, how deep do I need to go on this thing, right? Because they ask the basic questions Grant's talking about here in video 3. Dude, there's another 4 videos on top of that. And what I would actually do on this fact-finding thing is I would dig a little bit deeper. I would get a list of at least 10 questions that you're going to go into your presentations with. This is for you, Ben, and for everybody on this call. So, guys, get the 10 questions and make sure that they go deep enough. But if you're taking notes, write this down. They never give you the full answer on any of the questions. Okay, let me explain to you what I'm talking about. Ben, I'm going to ask you a simple question, man. What's the hardest part of your job?
Fact finding. We spoke about this last call also, right?
Yeah, yeah, now I'm just going to ask you a question. Like, what's the hardest part of your job?
The hardest part, getting new clients, prospecting new business.
Prospecting new business. What do you mean by that?
I do everything from scratch. So I go on Google Maps. I look for companies that might be able to use their services. I call them up. I qualify them. So
nice.
It's hard because it's brand new from scratch.
Got it. Okay, so you guys see the difference between those two questions? What's the hardest part of your job? He gave me one basic, simple answer. He's like, oh, prospecting. Okay, I'm like, excellent. What do you mean by that? And then all of a sudden, he's like throwing out this puking on me. But now this is where, guys, this is where you've got to be a salesperson. You've got to see the buying signs. Because he talked about, he just gave me, so he gave me one little small thing, and I said, oh, okay, great, man, what do you mean by that? And then he starts to kind of puke on me, where he's like telling me almost all of it. He doesn't even know that all the way at the end of that thing, he was talking about building the list is one of the hardest parts, right? Where that last little part that you said. So this is where you guys got to go back in and clarify and be like, so Ben, what you're telling me is that it's difficult to prospect and it's difficult to build those lists because it takes so much time and you got to dig so deep that it keeps you from actually doing the prospecting. Is that what I hear you saying?
Yeah. You got it.
Excellent. So now, guys, see, like now once I've got this deep, now once I've clarified, hey, Ben, so you're telling me that it's this? And Ben's like, yeah, dude, it's that. Now I can attach a feature, an advantage, and a benefit to it. And this is where I just bury the whole dominant buying motive with I've got the right solution. Okay, Ben, thanks a lot for calling in, man. There was a lot to learn on that call right there. So what you guys might want to do is you might want to go back and rewatch this one and just like watch the progression that I just took Ben through. You know, like this is what studying Cardone University every single day does. If you go through it one time, you've barely got the information. If you go through it 2 times, you're probably starting to get somewhere, but you've also got to be in the game to like take this, use it in these sales scenarios, and then to come back and be like, man, what's Grant really talking about right here? Because that one thing that I just told you, that second question where Grant's talking about, hey man, why'd you come in today? And the guy's like, well, you know, I've been driving by here and I seen your sign. Excellent. I mean, but why now? Why today? You know, and that second question of going in, like, why not? Like, what do you mean by that is the second question. You know, where I asked the guy, hey, what was the hardest part of your job? He said, man, it was prospecting. They never give you the full answer on the first question. That's why nobody ever gets a real dominant buying motive. And so you've got to dig a little bit deeper, and then you've got to be able to see what he's talking about and say, oh, Ben, so what you're telling me, Ben, is that you said this was your problem, that was your problem, and if we could solve that problem for you, it'd be worth X amount of money. Is that what I heard you say? Ben was like, yes, right? Now I come in. Let me show the screen now. Now I come into this, right, where I'm inside my presentation. I've actually identified a dominant buying motive. I have a reason. The guy actually is aware of his problem right now. Now I'm going to say, okay, Ben, well, Ben, let me show you my product. And I'm actually going to slide into this part right here, the presentation. And this is where you guys are going to be able to see the actual part where Grant's like, dude, tie a feature to it, tie an advantage, and tie a benefit. Okay, let me give you guys another rule of this. Okay, never show a feature of your product or service without attaching an advantage and a benefit. Okay, let me give you an example. Let's just say I'm showing a brand new car and it's got a navigation system. I'm like, look, it's a navigation system. And that's it? Dude, are you kidding me? Like, you got to go in. You got to like dig into the deal, man. You could be like, you know, John, sit down in the seat, man. Listen, check that out. That's a brand new navigation system. It's completely updated. The advantage, John, of having a navigation system is that you never have to ever get lost, which means the benefit of that is that you're always on time, you're always early to your meetings, and you don't ever have to spend extra time mapping out your day. Okay? It's probably going to make you more money having the actual navigation system. Right? Now all of a sudden I've got this like big thing tied to a problem he had, right? Where like he originally bought a new car because he got a new job. See where that works, guys? You guys got to start looking at all the features of what you do, and then you got to start attaching these other layers to it. So, next caller.
You got Christian in Connecticut.
Nice. Christian in Connecticut. How's it going, buddy?
Yes.
How are you?
Hey, doing great. Thanks, man.
What type of business are you in?
Insurance.
Nice. That's awesome, man. And what question do you have for me today?
So the question I have is, I want to start incorporating basically role play and the Cardone University every day.
Yes.
And I just want to find out how your team does it. If you have the team kind of do the Cardone University on their own time, or if they end up they're basically doing it at the office.
Yep. Great question.
Before the role play or after the role play, just want to come up with a new schedule and get everybody on the same page. So I wanted to see what you recommend.
Yeah, excellent. And this is an incredible question. It's like, dude, how do I implement this program, make it work the right way? And so this is a great question from Christian. So the way that we do it, and in some companies it's different, but for us, Grant says, do not watch videos at the office. At the office between like 9:30 and 6 o'clock is time to hammer the marketplace. So we don't really want to watch videos during that time. In some cases, in some types of employment, in some states, you're not allowed to require. I mean, we've ran into all types of funny things like that. But whatever. Have them watch it in the morning if you have to. But I'm going to give you the plan that we use. You watch the videos every single morning before you come in. So I train the sales team. I actually tell them, hey, we're watching these videos. They already know where we're at because we study in the right gradients, which means we will grab like sales process as a whole. Like, let's show the screen. I'll actually show you guys what we're doing right now. So we're going through sales process right here, and we went left to right, top to bottom. This isn't the platform that I train in, guys, so you can see that, like, disregard where I've actually trained right here. And we'll just go left to right, top to bottom. We'll watch every single piece, except we'll do 4 segments every single day. And then when we get to the office, when we get to the office, what I'll do is I'll spend 10 minutes with them discussing those 4 segments that we trained on as a group. Now, they're also required to do 2 other segments outside of that as like a free-for-all. Like, you can do motivation, you can do closing, you can do follow-up, you can do whatever. But when you get to the office, we're going to talk about those 4 segments that we all watched. We spend about 10 minutes doing that. And then we roll into an actual 20-minute role play session, minimum 20 minutes. Sometimes it's about 25. And the way that we do that, how many people do you have on your team, Christian?
Right now it is 6.
Perfect. So you should have 3 sets of role play going on every single day. So you don't want to waste any time. You don't need people watching other people. Maybe at like the beginning, as like you guys are getting going, I can see that happening. But you don't necessarily need people sitting around. The role play is practice. It's just like, and you can't, because what you're doing is you're getting a lot of inflow, because you're sitting here, you're reading, you're listening, you're learning. But at some point you got to do some outflow, which means that's the role play. Like, I got to like use the words, or else when you're on the phone with somebody, you're not going to actually use it. So that's why you want everybody practicing and role playing. And then let me give you some other tips on the role play. What I would practice on the most basic things first, and I would stick to that, and I would stick to that just until they get it down pat. When I say that, I'm talking about like the very beginning of the call, because what happens is a lot of times, if I can get them later on in the call, it's easier, but they lose the deal up front because they hear things like, we're not interested right now, we're not buying, give us a call in 6 months. And I would role play those, mostly just to get them really comfortable with it. And then also what we want to do is we want to get them good at the rebuttals, the way to handle it, and then that's where you can kind of use the Cardone University to study those specific videos. So,
okay.
Does that help you out?
Yeah, that helps a lot. Awesome, man. Thank you so much.
Excellent.
So basically have the team work on the Cardone U at home, and then review everything when we get to the office, and then jump right into the role play after that. Awesome.
Absolutely. And what I would advise is I would have everybody on the exact same page. So when we like earlier on, like 4 or 5 years ago, when I'm training salespeople, like we would all just do 6 random segments every single day. And when we shifted to, hey, we're going to do 4 segments specific. We're going to learn at the right gradient. Like we are going to study from video to video to video. We're not going to skip one. We're going to watch them. We're going to discuss them. Man, the way that we got our people up to speed was a lot quicker. It was a lot faster. It's just a much better way to learn.
Awesome.
Yep.
Great, man. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no, thank you, man. That was a great question. So great questions today, guys. So we've got...
We got one more caller. I got Jesus in Texas.
Jesus in Texas. What's up, man?
Okay.
How's it going, buddy?
Very well, sir. Good afternoon, man. Okay, I have problems setting up appointments and doing door-to-door, okay? I sell residential painting.
Okay.
So I want to find out if the problem is my pitch, my approach, or it's simply that I'm in a dumb business. You know, I don't know. It's like...
Yeah, no, I don't think it's a dumb business, man. I actually know a lot of people. I know a lot of painters, man, that make a lot of money.
Yeah.
A lot of houses out there.
Okay, good. Okay, I've been doing around 100 door-to-door, 100 people, and not even a fixed appointment. Okay.
Yeah, okay. Good. So here's what I want you to do, man. I want you to, number one, let's discuss this together. This is where if you guys are cold calling or if you guys are going door knocking, we need to first establish what Grant says are big claims, right? Like, you know, why you would want to do it, you know, like some built-in urgency, you know, like if like I'm in pretty decent shape, you know, but if a personal trainer came to me and he was like, hey, dude, I can get you down to 8% body fat in the next 3 weeks, you know, like, dude, I'd like perk up a little bit. I'm like, what was that? You know, like now all of a sudden it's like in my face with like a big claim of like, oh, wow, like, you know, that could be something I would bite on, right? So for the painting industry, you guys should all do this exercise, by the way. For the painting industry, like what would be some benefits of you painting my house? Let's list them out. Let's talk about them right now. What's one of them?
Okay.
So I would tell you, so your approach might be off. Like if you don't know why somebody would want to do this, then you're definitely not talking about it. Right? Which is okay. That's why you called in, man. That way we can help you out. So let's just talk about some benefits. What about a fresh look?
What? Excuse me.
A fresh look.
Fresh look.
A fresh look, man. You give a house a fresh look. You know, you go in, you repaint it. It looks nice, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly, man. I mean, dude, if it's anything like the house I grew up in, man, when I was like 6, 7 years old, man, I was like coloring on the walls with crowns and stuff. You know, like, dude, you know, when my family repainted the whole house, dude, it looked brand new.
Mm-hmm.
It was almost like I was walking into this like new house, man. It was awesome, right? So, dude, you give them a fresh look. What else, man? Could it improve the value of the home? You painting the home. Mm-hmm. No, I'm asking, could it improve the value of the home? If you paint the house, does it improve the value of the home? Yes or no?
Of course.
Of course.
It improves a lot.
Yeah, by how much do you think? If you had to guess.
If they're gonna sell it.
Yeah, if they're gonna.
You mean with it?
Yeah, sure.
Okay,
if they're gonna sell it, I mean, what would you say? Would you say it'd be a 2%, a 5%?
A lot, man. Like.
Well, especially if they're showing the property, right? It's going to make a big difference. But okay, so that's one thing. But what if they're not selling it? What if they're going to live there forever?
Okay, yeah.
then you got to know where to go, right? You got to know where to go. So you got to have these avenues. That's why you got to know your big claims, right? So the one thing could be, hey, dude, I can improve the value. I can make this place look sweet. Okay? If you're gonna be selling this property at any time in the next 12 months, which is a great time to sell, what you would want to do is you'd want to have it fresh, ready to go. That way, when people are walking through here, you get a buyer quick, man. If you're gonna sell this, do you want it to be sold quick, or do you want it to take a long time? Yeah, I would want to sell it quick. Excellent. Then that means you want to do something like painting, right? Where it's a low budget, high value tool. It doesn't cost that much to paint the home, but it raises the value. It gives a better experience, you know? Like if you drop an in-ground pool in the property, like it's going to raise the value, but dude, that costs a lot of money. It's like 30 grand if you get the ghetto one. Okay? Yeah. So like this is where like you got to show some value, right? You got to know your value propositions. You got to know your value adds. Now, let's just say that, you know, dude, they're not going to sell the home, right? Maybe they're going to keep it forever. They're going to live there forever. I'm still going to use this same pitch. Dude, listen, man, let me improve the value of you living there, man. Listen, you want to come home. How long you been living here? 10 years? Excellent. Listen, let me put a fresh coat on. Let me actually bring up the space, man. That way when you walk in, you feel like it's a new home. When was the last time you had this painted? When's the next time you're looking to get it painted? The last time you painted it, why did you do it? Right? Like this is where you got to know all these different things inside the training program. Man, thanks a lot for calling in. That's great, you know. So you guys should all do that exercise where you should really, dig into, like, dude, what's good about what I do? You know, because if you don't know, you're definitely not talking about it. And that's going to be really important for you guys. So that's why, you know, Jesus right there was thinking, man, I'm a painter. He even asked the question on it. He's like, dude, am I even in the right business? If you guys don't know your value propositions, you're definitely going to think you're in the wrong business because you're not going to be making the money that you should. I know painters that make hundreds of thousands of dollars per year, you know, and they do great, you know, but they've got the communication skills, and that's why you've got to study this Cardone University. That's why anything less than 6 segments every single day is just not enough to like train you to be speaking the language, to be able to see buying signals, to be able to know like, dude, this guy, I just dropped my big claim. The guy totally shut it down. Where do I go now? Right? That's why you guys have to train every single day. Next caller.
All right, you got Vinny in Tampa.
Oh, nice. Vinny in Tampa, what's happening?
Hey, what's happening, man? How are you?
Dude, I'm incredible. I'm incredible, man. I appreciate you calling in. What type of business are you in?
So we are here, you know, we're in a large media company. We are selling marketing and advertising plans. We do it from, you know, local level, from a few $1,000 all the way up to, you know, the 7-figure range, really depending on the business.
Yeah, that's awesome. What can I help you out with today?
So really, the reason for the call, man, we've been on Cardone U, me and one of my colleagues, just kind of really trying to, you know, up the skills, man, really trying to polish how we can, you know, close more business, of course. My question for you is, what can we do, or how would you really go about, you know, pitching outbound prospects and also just kind of selling, you know, a marketing plan and the value it brings to a company? How would you kind of go about that?
How would I pitch it, how would I pitch it, or how would I actually start a conversation with it?
Right. So you know, there's all different kinds of forms of advertising. Really, we want to do is our radio, digital. We have events, on-air personalities. We have different things we can do. How would you go about really closing more deals as far as, you know, when it comes to advertising and marketing?
Yeah, so, you know, I think it's a unique space where there's so many different options there, right? Like it even sounds like you guys have a couple different options that you provide, right? And the thing that the thing that you want to talk about in the advertising and the marketing is being able to be everywhere, right? And so this is a really great place to fact find and to ask people, like, you know, where are you now? You know, right. And if I was driving through Tampa, whether I was watching TV, on the radio, on billboards, on bus signs, man, where would I see you? Right? Let them talk about this, because these are the fact finding questions, guys, that they're really designed. Like we asked the question here where it's a really simple question. It's, you know, like if I was pitching Vinny, one of the fact-finding questions would be, hey, Vinny, if I were to come over to your business tomorrow and start working with you, what type of training could I expect? Okay, this question always trips them up. It's like a trick question. Like, we already know that it's terrible, right? But this is where it gets really funny, because this is where they're like, well, you know, if you were to come over here, you would actually sit through our 3-day course with our top sales guy. You would shadow him, and like they start trying to like make up stuff and like pack it up. But this whole time, as they're walking themselves through it, they're like, dude, this whole cycle is broken. Right? So this is where you got to ask the right fact-finding questions when you're pitching these deals, man. So what I would ask is, hey, dude, I'm driving through Tampa right now. Just picture me driving. I'm in my car. You know, maybe I stop at a coffee shop, I see a TV on, or I'm driving past bus signs. Like, where would I find you? So that's what I would open the gates with, and I would have him start talking about what he is doing. And what I want you to think with is, dude, you may not, you know, be replacing a radio ad with a digital ad. You may be replacing a new radio ad for him. So you may be, he may like that. That may have like really helped his business for a long time. So what you may be looking to do is to replace what he's currently doing and then start adding some other things to it. And what you want to find is like, dude, where are some gaps or some holes, right? And I think the proper fact-finding questions would dig deep into like, dude, what's this guy missing right now? Because they're already making money without you, and they're already advertising. And so the idea is to find out, dude, what are you missing? You know, like they know they're missing money, but your job's to go in and do basically like an assessment and identify like where the holes are. Does that make sense?
Right, and yeah, we're on the national scale too, man. So it's really not just Tampa based. You know, we can do the local level, and then we can also hit the regional and the national campaign level. So we can always add a digital aspect to the radio, or an on-air personality, or an event, really depending on their level, their business type.
Yeah.
Also, budget plays a huge factor. That budget question. Hey, we get some inbound leads too, as far as outbound prospecting.
Yeah.
You know, it's the main question is how much is it going to cost, of course, and it's really just.
Well, maybe the guy's not paying enough, man. Maybe he's not invested enough, and he knows he's not invested enough. You know, like,
yeah,
you know, like I get my investment checks in every month, and I'm like, dude, I don't have enough money in there. Like, I'm like, dude, I need to, and now I'm trying to figure out how to send more to the investments, right? Where I'm like, I'm seeing it work, and I'm like, dude, this is working, this is great, but like, dude, how do I make this number bigger, right? So like, he may just not be spending enough on the advertising. And maybe who's ever pitched in the deal thinks that, oh, dude, we don't want to give him a big price because we gotta keep the price down, right? We're like, dude, go give him a big problem. You know, like when Grant does something, he gives himself a problem first. He goes and invests in a giant stadium that has 35,000 seats in it, and then he comes back and he's like, all right, guys, well, we got some tickets to sell, right? He already wrote the check. Mm-hmm. You know, like the problem is there. Like you're capable of solving problems. So this is what you got to give these business owner problems, right? Like, you know, he's trying to scale his business, but maybe he's only selling to people in Dallas and the surrounding areas. And so what you can talk about is the national place. You still want to use some questions like, dude, if I was on Facebook right now and for whatever reason your ad popped up, I mean, can you explain to me what I would go through? Can you explain to me that process that I would go through? And then he'll be like, well, you know, an ad would pop up, there'd be a lead gen. He's literally walking himself through like, dude, I actually don't really know what we're really doing there that works, you know? And that's where you, the expert, comes in, but you got to get him to understand that. You do it with questions.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's, you know, also being transparent as to where, you know, certain markets are a higher investment level like Dallas as opposed to a Savannah, Georgia, where it doesn't take as much, you know, per month to really get a healthy campaign, you know, a marketing campaign established. So it's really just kind of being transparent and saying, you know, what's going to work and what's not going to work. And I guess, yeah, you're right. Questions will always uncover that.
Definitely. You know, hey, what are you doing now? Hey, what's working? Tell me more about that, right? So, hey, what's working for you guys? Man, you guys are, and this is where you got to go in with the agreement. Like, man, you guys, man, John, I came across your company online, and, man, it looks like you guys are crushing it over there. And, you know, after we doing some research, like this is you in the presentation fact finding, like, man, you know, we looked at your business. It looks like you guys are doing really well. Like for advertising, what's really working for you, you know? And then let him tell you what they're doing, right? Like if you don't know what they're already doing now, you don't know how to replace it.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's a good point. Yeah, just trying to get more of the share,
Exactly, because you're going to come in and replace something, and then you're going to be able to start adding some other things to it. Okay, so dude, great call, man. I appreciate that. So, again, guys, the fact finding, I'm telling you, is like a very deep thing. There's a lot of things that you could really learn just from that fact finding program. And I would tell you that if you have the other certifications, just depending on what program you have, it could be in Cardone exclusives, but there's going to be another program that's called the 7 Top Sales Secrets, and that program is incredible as well, as far as Grant talking about rules in the presentation, about how to break your presentation up. Next caller.
You got Andre in Atlanta.
Nice. Andre in Atlanta, what's happening?
What's going on, Steve? How's it going?
Man, it's going incredible. What type of business are you in?
I work with a logistics company, like a brokerage company.
Oh, sweet.
Companies, coordinate their shipping and all that stuff.
Yeah, competitive, man. Competitive
man.
marketplace.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I like that. What's what can I help you out with today?
Yeah, I just had a few questions, but first I wanted to hit you with my pitch, see what you think about it.
Dude, lay it on me, big dog.
Awesome. All right. Hey, my name's Andre with TQL, Total Quality Logistics, the top logistics brokerage in the country. The reason why I'm calling is we are able to deliver the best performance for all your logistics and shipping needs and completely streamline and automate the entire process for you and your company and provide you with the lowest and most affordable rates in the country guaranteed. And by working with us, this will allow your company to scale to new heights.
All right, yeah, dude, just send me the rates. Just email me your rates.
Okay, I completely understand, sir. I'll definitely get you all the rates that you want.
And then just follow up with me after that.
Gotcha, sir. I'll definitely follow up with you. When's a good time to follow up with you? Would it be later this week or?
Yeah, I mean, if I like the rates, I mean, if they're, because my guy already does that, and we've been working with the company for a while.
Completely understand, sir. I kind of figured that. A company of your caliber, I figured you guys were already up and running. But, all I'm looking for is to get 10 minutes of your time just so, the rates that we do provide you, just to see if we can get in the mix with you.
Yeah, I mean, if the rates are good, I'll probably reach out to you.
Gotcha, sir. I completely understand. Now, let me ask you, when you're looking at rates, are you strictly basing it on price or are you basing it on value?
Both.
Both. Okay. Gotcha.
Nice. See, guys, this guy, he's been role playing, that call's going to get further, the more calls you make with that pitch, it's going to get somewhere. Definitely it could be a little bit tighter. There's a few things here and there, but it's not even the guy's got it down, he's going to work his own pitch out with that. He's got the pitch down. He knows the deal. He's been studying the Cardone. How long have you been on Cardone University?
I got in on Black Friday, but I've already gone through it twice.
Oh, dude, my man. Yeah, see, so this guy's buried in. He's like, dude, you guys said 6 segments. I'm going to go ahead and double up on that. I'm going to study more. I'm going to role. How often do you role play?
I do it every day.
Yeah, so this is what it looks like, guys. This is what it looks like every single day when you're role playing and you're doing the things. There was some things in there that I could be like, oh, no, you could have done this better. You could have done that better. But for the main thing, this guy's going to be able to hang in on a phone call because he's got a place to go, right, man? So good job on that. What I would tell you is get to the thing about the price. Hey, other than price, what's going to be the most important decision for you when it comes to value? I would find out what it is for value because, me and you talking about this, I don't really know what it is, but you talking to him about it, you're going to be able to speak the same language, right? So other than price, what parts of value are going to be most important to your decision making, right? Where you can really dig into hey, what is it that this guy really needs to feel comfortable about? See where that works?
Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah, so that was good, man. I mean, I would just move that up a little bit and dig a little bit deeper on it. And then when you do ask the question, what do you think he would say if you were like, hey, other than price and looking at value, what's the most important thing to you? What do you think he would say?
I mean, he probably would say price, but a lot of times that's kind of how this industry is. They just kind of just go off price, really.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I'm pretty sure he would say value, but at the same time, they're heavy on price.
Yeah. But if he did say value and he was going to give you something else, if you said, hey, you know what, other than price, I know it's always price. I know it's always going to be price. Sir, in this industry, it's about the price. But other than that, what's the most important thing to you? What's something else that he could come up with?
You know, like on-time deliveries, 24/7, you know, accessibility, so they can talk to us, get in communication with the driver, make sure everything's good with the shipments and all that stuff.
Yeah, excellent. So that I would start like digging into that, right? Like find a little hole to like kind of poke and like get into it. You know what I mean? And start. Hey, so you guys don't have that right now?
Right. Okay.
Wait, you guys don't have that right now? You know, like this is how you guys get into a call. You know, like this is where all the magic happens right here. It's not at the beginning of the pitch. Like if you guys get your pitch down like this guy had it down, like this guy could hang into a call with somebody and cold call all day long. If you could hang in like that and then know where to like pop in on somebody where it's like, you know, hey, I always know it's price, man. It's always price. In this industry, it's nothing but price. But if there was one other thing that you really cared about, whether it was, you know, the 24/7, you know, service, whether it was on-time deliveries. I mean, what's the thing you have the most attention on? Oh, well, we would need to make sure our deliveries get there on time. Done. Okay, are you guys getting that type of service right now? You know, like I'm gonna start going into that little, like, hey, let me handle the price. We got the best price. We got the lowest prices available. But other than this, and I'm gonna start working in on dominant buying motives.
Right.
You know, so this is where you guys can like dig deep on this thing, right? So what was the other question that you had?
For the pitch, I was wondering, because mine's kind of like, it doesn't really have any numbers, so I was just wondering, is it better to use like a quantifiable number, like data, like, oh, we say company.
I love numbers, man. I love numbers. It gives me like some mass, you know, like something I can see, you know, like if I tell you guys about a Gulfstream 550, man, it's big, you know, it's got some big jets on it. It's cool, man. It's white, you know, like, dude, I don't even know what picture you're making up in your head. But if I can show you this and I'm like, dude, check it out. This is what it looks like, you know, if I can show it to you. So with like numbers, you're actually able to show it to somebody. Okay, with numbers, you're actually able to show it to somebody, right? So that's what I want you guys to be able to use, man. Thanks a lot for calling in on that. And dude, lots of great callers today, guys. Lots of great callers. So, guys, listen. Every Wednesday, we come to you live right here from the Cardone University Mastermind, and we help you guys out. So if you have questions, if you have anything that you want us to help you with, call us in. We're going to be here every single Wednesday. And if you guys haven't been to grantcardone.com/BYE, Grant's going to be doing a webinar this weekend on how to get your year kicked off the right way and maintain all your goals leading throughout. Okay, so we'll see you guys back here next Wednesday on the Cardone University Mastermind.